Live from the 607, it's the Ocho Duro Parlay Hour, where we're talking everything going on in the world of sports. Join in the conversation on social media with the hashtag ODPH, because here we go.
Instead of looking deep inside, every word I have to say, keep it simple.
Welcome to an all-new edition of the ODPH podcast. What is happening, everybody? Thank you so much for joining us this week. My name is Ken M. Joining me in studio, as always, you know him. He's the co-host. His name is Padawan J.
Let me talk to you.
And yeah, we have a lot to talk about in the land of sports, so we definitely want to keep those conversations going after the show. So, Pad, where does everybody head to?
ODPHpodcast.com.
Right on. Swing on over to the website, sign up for all the social media accounts, check out the TeePublic store link. Sale is going on, plus there's hats for the summertime.
Hey.
That's kind of a big deal. So
Don't let your head get burned. It sucks.
That is an absolute fact right there. I cannot dispute that one bit. So if you want to go get some ODPH items for the summer, that is the perfect time to do it. We are seeing some sales coming in, and honestly, that is just very humbling that people want to support the brand in that manner. It is also extremely humbling when people want to be patrons to the ODPH. And shout out to all our amazing patrons. They have their own page. You should go follow them, get familiar with them, and definitely keep those conversations rolling as well. But one tier, $2 a month, and that gets you a little bonus content. This month they got a bonus episode early.
Hey.
So who knows what we might do. Maybe we'll do something for the end of the month. I don't know. It's kind of a little crazy schedule right now, but we'll figure something out. We always do. Remember, check out the blog section of the show. Also, the classified section, which has friends of the show, such as 3FM Podcast, covering Bad Boys Ride or Die.
Hey.
I'm surprised it's not Bad Boys for Life. I think, and I believe this was mentioned on the show as well, I think there was money left off the table.
Could be.
When they didn't go for that.
Could be. But
great episode nevertheless, so you definitely want to go check that out on your favorite podcatcher. Also, friends of the show, we're talking Dragon Master Games. We're talking Nerd Initiative. There is a lot going on there.
Yeah, there is.
I cannot talk about a lot of it right now, so I'll just say nerdinitiative.com. But like I say, links are there as well. Also, voter registration. There's a lot on the classified section. If you haven't checked it out lately, make sure you do. The directory, Pat, how many providers are we on?
560,376.
I do not question him. He is the statistician to the stars for a reason. So definitely make sure you're checking us out on your favorite podcatcher and drop a review there too. It definitely helps the algorithm of the show. Is getting more people involved with the show, so we definitely like doing that because that's what we're here for, folks. Last but certainly not least, check out the music section of the show. A lot of things happening for some of the great musicians you hear each and every episode, such as Brian Wolf and the Howlers, making some rounds on a little semi-tour.
Yeah.
Tom Jolu is definitely doing a crazy tour right now. We got to start posting some links of where he's at because he just was all over the place on the East Coast now. So if you have the chance to go check him out, definitely do it. Second Suitor was playing back, finally live. I know Tyler Reed had a little injury from his time in Excite Wrestling. He's back, so that's awesome to see him out playing. Also, shout out to the Robots, Floodline. See, I forget how many great musicians we have. That's why I say go to the website, find out for yourself, and definitely go support the hell out of them because they're all amazing people. Anything else that I might have forgotten, it's simple. It's odphpodcast.com. And remember on social media to use the hashtags ODPHpod. So that being said, Pad, people came here, some sports talk. What are we talking about this week?
We're going to talk about the NBA Finals because no bigger story in sports right now. It is the marquee games. Sorry, NHL, but I don't think anyone in most of the country gives a flying you-know-what about Florida or who the hell is even the other team in the NHL Finals? Exactly.
Edmonton. But, listen, we can just sum it up this way. Florida is doing what Florida did to the Rangers. It's deja vu all over again. Enough said.
Speaking of doing what they did to previous teams in the previous rounds of the playoffs, the Boston Celtics might just be doing that to the Dallas Mavericks, although, hey, I think we all expected this because we are currently through 2 games in the NBA Finals, although it feels like, it should be more given the amount of time. But, hey, they love having a week and a half between games, allegedly. But, yeah, we're through 2 games in the NBA Finals. We're currently the Dallas Mavericks are down 2-0 to the Boston Celtics. So Boston's up 2-0. Don't know why I said it that way, but I did. Boston won Game 1, 107-89, and then Boston won Game 2, 105-98. Couple of highlights, couple of stats from this game. All 5 starters on Boston in Game 1 in double digits. 16 from Jason Tatum. Al Horford had 10. Drew Holiday had 12. White had 15. Brown had 22. You also had 20 from a certain unicorn off the bench, Porzingis, which ain't bad. On the flip side, you had 30 from Luka Doncic, 12 from Kyrie Irving. PJ Washington had 14, and off the bench for Dallas, Hardy actually didn't have a bad game. He had 13 points, but rest of the bench, step your shit up. I'm not even going to run through the names. This is just the other players on the bench. You had 2 points from one gentleman, none from, 2 points from one person, and then 3 points from another guy. So if they take out the 13 points Hardy, their guard, had, yeah, none, 3, 5, none, 2. So between the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you had 7 points. And it's not exactly like they didn't play any minutes. One gentleman played 19 minutes. Another one played 18 minutes. You had another one play 20 minutes. So that decent amount of time here, but they could not score for shit.
Pat is not saying their names for a certain reason, because when you do that much of a poor performance, he is not mentioning you.
Uh-huh.
And that is the easiest way you can describe the current stat quo for this series.
Mm-hmm.
We mentioned on the show that if Luka and Kyrie were going to have a chance in this,
somebody else had to fucking do something.
Somebody had to, yeah. And unfortunately, PJ Washington doing 14, not going to get the job done.
It's good.
It's good,
but it's not enough.
But it's not enough. And like you touched upon, their bench is disappeared.
Uh-huh.
And that is very, very crucial to why they're down 2-0 in this series.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Boston really came out of the gates hot.
Whew.
They wanted to send a message early.
Jesus Christ.
They absolutely did. And for where they're going now, I mean, obviously there is a ton of momentum moving forward with them.
A couple of team stats here. As a team, the Boston Celtics were 39 of 82 from the field, which is good for 47.6%. Christ. Mm-hmm. On the flip side, you had the Dallas Mavericks, who were 35 of 84, which is good for just over 41%. From the 3-point line, you had Boston was 16 of 42, which is good for just over 38%. Dallas Mavericks, 7 of 27.
Yeah.
25%. Free throws, because, hey, ask Memphis, University of Memphis in the national title game. They do matter. You had free throws. Dallas was 12 of 19, 63%. Boston was 13 of 19 for 68%.
Like we say, game stats like that, they don't lie.
Yeah, and people think free throws don't matter, but at times they do.
Oh, yeah. Well, especially in this late in the game, in the season, they need to hit their shots. They absolutely do. Game 2 was a better performance, sure, but it's not enough when your team is literally giving you no bench help. I mean, to put it in comparison to, yeah, sure, PJ Washington, 17 points, Kyrie, 16, Luka, 32, and he's hurt too, by the way.
Yeah.
But the rest of the bench had a combined 9 points for Game 2.
Yeah.
9 points.
Now, admittedly, there weren't as many guys on the Dallas Mavericks bench playing as Game 1. Let's see. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys playing off the bench in Game 1. Game 2 was only 5. The other ones were, according to the box sheet, for what that's worth, the other ones who did not play were all coach's decision.
Yeah. So that being said, I mean, they were playing very close in that first half.
Mm-hmm.
But this is where Boston turned it on when they needed to turn it on.
And it's not like, oh, they only played 2 minutes and didn't really score. No, like of the Dallas bench guys, one person played 2 minutes. That was Hardy, their guard. Mm-hmm. The other ones played Kleber played 16 minutes. Lively, the second, played 19. Green played 14, and Exum played 11.
Yeah.
So that's not exactly PJ Washington playing 40 minutes length of time, but that's still a substantial amount of time.
Oh, it's substantial. That's something to keep in mind. But Boston is just playing more team basketball than anybody was expecting.
Suffocating defense.
I mean, if you want to say that in the starting lineup, Jason Tatum was not the lead scorer. In fact, he was tied for third in that lineup. That speaks volumes.
Yeah.
And you can say what you want, but when you have Drew Holiday and Jaylen Brown stepping up and picking up a lot of slack, and Holiday's defense, too, which is going very underrated, except there are a few sports analysts that are catching on to this. he's not playing lockdown defense, but he's shifting the game enough that it's buying them opportunities.
Tatum led the team in defensive rebounds for game 2 with 8. Right behind him were Al Horford and Drew Holiday with 7 apiece. Al Horford did what he needed to do. I mean, because you look at Tatum was throwing dimes, if you look at the box score, like it's going out of sale.
Yeah.
12 assists for this game. But you look at Al Horford, 28 minutes, 2 for 4 from the field, 1 for 3 from the 3-point line, no free throws, only had 5 points. Not that great, not terrible, is what it is. But then you look at some of the other stats. Okay, he had 1 steal, cool. He had no blocks, okay, no turnovers. Hey, that's good. But then you look at the rebounds. He had no offensive rebounds, 7 defensive rebounds.
Yeah.
Oof.
But that's what he needs to do. He does not need to be the lead scorer.
He's Scottie Pippen.
Yeah.
You don't need
Well, I wouldn't even say that.
Well, I mean in the aspect of like, okay, you didn't really need, or sorry, not Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman.
Yes.
Sorry, Jesus. He's the Dennis Rodman of this group. Like, okay, he's there, great. If he can score, awesome. But you don't need him to be the primary scorer. You just need him to go out there and get boards.
Yeah, and that's all he needs to do. And and that's why it goes back to Boston is playing team basketball.
Yeah.
And it's showing that everybody on their team knows their role. They're doing what they need to do. It's not all having to be relied on Jason Tatum, even though I feel it should because he is the star player.
The offense definitely runs through him, but they're playing at such a level that he doesn't have to be, the star batter in the lineup.
Exactly where I'm going, Pat.
Going to hit, like, I got to go up there and get up there and hit a home run. No, like you look at a baseball team when they're gelling really well. Your star player, your star hitter doesn't get up there and go, all right, I got to go for the triple. I got to go for the home run. He goes, no, I got to go up there and I just got to make contact.
Mm-hmm. And especially in a game where they were not on fire in that first half for game 2.
Right.
That he was really easing into it in the second half. And that's something that you saw with the assists, 12 assists.
Yeah.
So when he can have a night like that and Boston is still looking very, very dominant, I know the score is a little closer than some might think.
Uh-huh.
This is a true telling sign about how both teams are trending. Dallas is struggling very, very badly.
It might be too little too late for these guys.
Oh, I fully think so. I think the fact Luka is hurt.
Yeah, this is according to sources from Tim McMahon of ESPN. The article reads, quote, Dallas Mavericks superstar Luka Doncic received a pain-killing injection to numb the area of his thoracic contusion before Dallas's loss to the Boston Celtics in Sunday's Game 2, sources told ESPN on Tuesday. The expectation is that Doncic will receive another injection before Wednesday's Game 3, sources said, as the Mavericks attempt to get their first win of the series, close quote.
Sorry, folks, it's over.
Uh-huh. Now, the only thing I'm wondering is, and I can kind of browse through this article, is it the shooting hand? Because if so, they're screwed.
Well, he still put up, a triple-double?
Yeah, something like that.
But if he's not 100%, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
And you saw in the game where he got the quick steal. He was not looking right this series. If he's not at full capacity, it's a wrap. I'm sorry.
According to this, Doncic has, quote, Doncic has been dealing with a sprained right knee since the Mavs' third game of this postseason and has said that he does not anticipate that injury healing until he has time to rest. Left ankle soreness has also been listed on Doncic's official injury report since Game 3 of the second round. Doncic has played in all 19 of the Mavs' playoff run, leading all players in several statistical categories this season, including points, rebounds, assists, steals, and minutes. Mm-hmm. Holy hell. By the way, close quote.
Yeah, no, he's beat up.
Which is normal this time of year.
Right. That's what I say. But
the only guy who's not beat up on either roster this time of year is the guy who ain't getting much playtime.
Yeah.
That's about it.
No, you're exactly right. And this is something that if he's not 100%, like I said, it's over.
Mm-hmm.
There's no chance. I'm sorry. There is not. Nobody else on Dallas is going to be able to pick up that slack.
Well, I mean, you got one guy trying to or knowing he has to, and that'd be Kyrie Irving, who told Luka, I got to play better.
Well, I'm sure he's trying to do what he can, but I think, let's be honest.
He historically has not been a takeover guy.
Yeah.
He has his moments. Let's not give, his winning shot or whatever it was in the playoffs or the finals against the Warriors any slouch. He has his moments, but is he the type to, like Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, pick your player, take over and dominate a game and dominate a series?
He never has been, and you're not going to see it happen here.
No.
Boston is too locked in. They're playing too tight defense. on him that's really messing with his game, and that's something
Yeah.
that's a testament to Drew Holiday.
Well, and that's the thing is with Luka being hurt and Luka not being I'd even say 75%. He's under 75%. It's very easy to guard this team because one-on-one coverage with Luka, force him to beat you because right now he's not doing it. He's putting up great numbers, but he's just not doing it. And then force the other guys to beat you. Like you're not at 100%. Let's force the other guys who are at a higher percentage than you health-wise to beat us.
Exactly. And if they're not going to step up and do it, this is going to be very short. Like I say,
Yeah.
I did not think we were going to have a sweep. That is highly probable right now.
So looking at the future games, because like we said, we're up 2-0. Game 3 is scheduled for Wednesday, June 12th at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on ABC, where currently the Dallas Mavericks are favored by 2.5. Now, they're in Dallas.
They're home, yeah.
The home team. Yeah, that makes sense. No odds are up yet for Game 4, but that game is on Friday, June 14th at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on ABC.
Yeah, I think they would just need a very, very bad night from Boston, which, I mean,
That could happen.
they're due for, but
Yeah.
at the same time, Boston is just going to bounce back. I think just at this stage, we're now seeing that true team basketball that really shines in the playoffs. Like this is where it puts the elite teams in there, and I think for this season, Boston has been elite.
The one slip up they had was that one game against Cleveland.
And
But then again, it wasn't even a slip up. It's just Cleveland shot the ball like they couldn't miss.
it was near perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, anytime you have a near perfect night,
Yeah.
what are you going to do? I mean, Indiana had a near perfect night against the Knicks, and look what happened.
Yep.
So that said, I mean, I think that's probably the easiest way to describe this is going to be Boston's, and I can't see them losing 4.
No, they're not going to lose 4 in a row. I think if they possibly could lose a game, I could see it being Game 4 on Friday. Just because they I don't want to say take the foot off the gas, but they let up a little bit where they're like, all right, we're dominating. Luka's hurt. Kyrie can't score like he needs to. Nobody else is stepping up on this team. We got this. We got this in the bag. This is locked up. And then, hey, things happen and Dallas pulls one off. And then all of a sudden we're looking at Game 5 on Monday in Boston.
No, I think if there's any chance they'll lose Game 3.
Okay.
I just think for that reason, though, I think you put it exactly right, Pat. I think that if anything, they will come in overconfident on Game 3.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that point spread, I'm very curious to keep watching.
Yeah, the over-under for what it's worth is 212.5.
Yeah. Well,
Take the over.
They're definitely going to be having a shootout down there. But at the end of the day, it's still coming back to Boston. Like I said, I would not be surprised if this went 5 at the most.
It ain't going 6 or 7.
It's not going 6.
That's for sure.
Unfortunately, now it's not 6. I mean,
That'd be a worse collapse than what the Atlanta Falcons had.
Yeah. No, Luka's too hurt. So that's your headline right there. Nobody else is really going to impact Boston's game plan right now. If you take him out of the lineup, Dallas does not have enough firepower.
Yeah.
They can't compete. But that was not the only big basketball story, though, this week.
No, so the other big story, and it's kind of the story that's been percolating and floating around in the backgrounds of the NBA playoffs and what have you, is who the heck is going to be the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers? JJ Redick's name was thrown out there for a little bit, but then all of a sudden, kind of out of left field for me, the name of Dan Hurley got thrown around. If you're not familiar with Dan Hurley, he is the head coach of the University of Connecticut Huskies men's basketball team, the current reigning, defending, undisputed NCAA men's basketball champions, 2 years in a row, mind you, back to back. The name got thrown around, and I went, I could see it. It makes sense. Got a great pedigree in college. And then the story came down yesterday as we record that he had turned down the offer of a reportedly 6-year, $70 million offer from the Los Angeles Lakers. This was according to Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN. And instead, he's going to stick at the University of Connecticut and go for a 3rd straight national title. Now, Hurley did put out a statement, said, quote, "I am humbled by this entire experience. At the end of the day, I am extremely proud of the championship culture we have built at Connecticut. We met as a team before today's workout, and our focus right now is getting better this summer and connecting as a team as we continue to pursue championships," close quote.
Well, we have to also factor in something with this,
Uh-huh.
and that is LeBron has been making some very subtle comments concerning one Kyrie Irving.
Uh-huh.
And almost like luring him to L.A.
Yeah, I noticed some of those.
Yeah, some of them have been getting leaked out. I mean, social media posts and such. I believe there might have been an interview or two that came in. And that is where it's really kind of sparked this conversation about the Lakers and the head coaching job. And like I say, there's been a lot going on with this because everybody knows LeBron's time is very limited for his NBA career now. And will he stay? Will he go? What's going to happen here? And obviously he wants to play 1 year with his son who's coming out in the draft this year, projected second round. Right, if memory serves me right, too, I believe I heard that he was projected around where the Lakers were going to be picking in the second round.
Okay.
So, that said, he's trying to load up the deck for one last run. I don't blame him. He doesn't make any comments without thinking this through, and he has always been
very strategic.
Very strategic about what message he wants to send. The fact he was making the comments about, he wished he could have been Kyrie's running mate. I believe you have the quote up.
I do. So this is from an article Dave McMenamin of ESPN wrote last week, and it says, quote, with Kyrie Irving set to play in his first NBA Finals since 2017 when the Boston Celtics host the Dallas Mavericks in Thursday's Game 1, his former teammate LeBron James admitted just how much he misses playing with the 8-time All-Star. Quote, I'm so fucking happy and so proud to watch him continue his growth. James told his co-host JJ Redick on an episode of their Mind to the Game podcast, released Tuesday. I'm so fucking mad at the same time that I'm not his running mate anymore. Close quote. He did go on to say, quote, I just remember those times, close quote.
Because that has always been an interesting part of both players' careers. Their time in Cleveland should not have ended the way it did.
No, and LeBron did say to Michael Wilbon of ESPN last February, quote, I can't sit here and say I'm not disappointed on not being able to land such a talent, but also someone that I had great chemistry with. And no, I got great chemistry with on the floor. That can help you win championships in my mind, in my eyes, close quote.
Exactly. That when they broke up in Cleveland because Kyrie did not want to play under his shadow anymore. He wanted to be his own man and go to
Boston.
Yep, thank you. When he wanted to be his own man and go there.
Wanted his own team.
He wanted to be the star, and he did not handle it well.
Because if memory serves, correct me if I'm wrong, Kyrie, and I'll look it up, Kyrie was there for at least a year before LeBron came
2 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Something. I'll look it up.
But regardless, that's what broke it up. And LeBron did not have enough pieces in Cleveland at the time to pick up the slack.
No.
Wound up going to L.A., which was a lot better than the first time he left Cleveland. He won them a chip, so it did not matter if he stayed or if he left.
Right.
He did what he promised he was going to do way back when. Listen, he's got blessings about this.
Yep.
Went to L.A., teamed up with Anthony Davis. They won during the bubble tourney. They won championship.
Kyrie was there for 3 years.
3 years?
3 years. He was drafted in the 2011 draft, and then LeBron returned to Cleveland in 2014.
Okay. So that being said, they should have been able to build a dynasty there, and they just could not do it because of ego.
Almost to a certain lesser degree, Kobe and Shaq.
Yeah, to a very lesser degree.
Not as toxic.
No, definitely.
That's for sure.
No, I mean there was moments, but not as bad. Not as bad though.
Yeah.
But it was just a matter of where Kyrie wanted to go. And I think that since both players have had an interesting journey since.
Very interesting.
They have reconciled a bit.
Well, and also they've grown up a little bit.
Yeah. And I think that it definitely shows when you hear him talk about the other in interviews. And I think LeBron is being very strategic about what he's doing. And I think that he wants to get one last championship run in before he says goodbye.
Yep.
Kyrie reuniting with him in L.A. would be interesting.
It would, and I think LeBron realizes at this point, like, I can't do it by myself. I need and I can't do it with just, 2 other guys and a couple other players. I need a host of people to help me.
Well, you need it in this day and age.
The West is loaded.
Exactly. The 2-man super pair is not going to work. I'm sorry.
LeBron doing what he did when he went to the finals against the San Antonio Spurs ain't going to work.
Right. He needs a team around him.
Yeah.
And if he could get Kyrie there and not give up Anthony Davis, you might have something there.
That's not bad on paper, although we said the same thing with Kyrie and Kevin Durant in
sure.
Brooklyn.
Well, I think this is going to be a lot more stable, though.
You would think.
The one thing is with LeBron, he has chemistry with both players.
Yep.
And I think if Kyrie does wind up there, which I know is crazy to say because obviously he's tied to Dallas, sounds like he's very happy there, doesn't want to leave.
Uh-huh.
But
Yeah.
you never know what could happen in the offseason. This is going to be an interesting story to watch because if he does go to L.A., Anthony Davis goes there, that's like, hey, this is the final run. Like, you can treat it like Jordan's last dance.
Yeah.
He wants to try one last shot to get over the hump and get one more ring. I don't know even with if that team does get formed together, if they can do it. I just don't think at this age.
So looking at Kyrie's contract on Spotrac.com, it does say that Kyrie is in the midst of a 3-year, $120 million contract with the Dallas Mavericks. Excuse me. He's in year 2 of this deal. Year 3 is a player option.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the deadline for that is June 25th of next year. Excuse me.
So that is going to be something if they want to try making a move, the Lakers being, they could try. I just don't know if they have enough assets to get him.
Yeah.
That's a big question mark.
Yeah.
But as for Hurley, though, that one doesn't surprise me one bit.
No.
And I think what he did, and rightfully so, it's the smart move. Hurley is the top coach in men's college basketball.
Yep.
You can't deny it. You can't deny what he's built at UConn. Him entertaining the idea of going to the NBA and coaching LeBron, you have to do. However, though, I never put any serious thought into it. Because the one thing that you deal with LeBron is not somebody that you can coach.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron is a Hall of Famer in the waiting area.
Right.
He is not going to listen to what you're going to say.
Right.
You've seen the track record over time. Like, he takes over the teams. I mean, that's just how he is. I mean, I'm not meaning that in any kind of slight.
No.
But we've seen this time and time again. And sure, he might wanted Hurley there, but I think Hurley says, what matters more to me? Legacy? Or I go to L.A., I coach LeBron for 1 year, maybe 2.
If you're lucky.
If you're lucky. Then what do I have after that? Nothing.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
You're essentially Brad Stevens.
So you have to decide, is that worth it to you?
Right.
And I think he played it very smart.
Or, on the flip side, you stay at UConn and you do something that hasn't been done since UCLA did it from 1967 to 1970, although admittedly they did it from 1967 to 1973, and that's when consecutive three-peat national titles. Teams have done back-to-back. Duke did it in 91-92. Florida did it in 06-07. UConn's obviously done it 2023 and 2024. But the last team to do at least 3, but like I said, they did more, UCLA from 1967 to 1973.
It's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, going back-to-back is tough. Going for the 3,
and they're the only team to have done 3 because UCLA also did it back-to-back in 64-65. Cincinnati did a back-to-back in 61-62. San Francisco did a back-to-back in 55-56. Kentucky did it from 48 to 49. And Oklahoma State, Oklahoma State's the only other one to do it. Oklahoma State did it from 1945 to 1956.
Right, but
there's so in NCAA history, stretching back however long, it's only been 2 teams to ever do more than 2 in a row.
So if Hurley feels he has a shot to do that for history, by all means.
Yeah.
But I think it ultimately comes down, he doesn't want to deal with LeBron.
And the NBA in general.
Well, that's the thing. We've seen how many times a coach can transition from college to pro. It's tough.
Yeah.
Not everybody can do it. You can take a look at when John Calipari did it. You can take a look at, Brad Stevens, like he touched upon.
Yeah.
There has been coaches that have tried making the jump, and it ordinarily does not work as well.
No.
There's something about the college game in comparison to the pro game that coaching is more focused on than it is in the NBA. Because what I mean by this is you take a look at the majority of coaches in the NBA, how many of them are former players?
A lot.
So they understand the pro game a lot more than somebody that has not been a part of it. Now, depending if Hurley was an assistant or not, to my knowledge, I don't believe he was. I could see that being a very big factor. And you take a look at some of the other coaches that made the transition. Sure, you can have success with a young team, but if you're trying to tell, veterans who have been in the league and had success there what to do and what not to, that could be a challenge.
Looking at Dan Hurley's playing career, he was a point guard for Seton Hall from 1991 through 1996, and then didn't play in the NBA. But then for his coaching career, was an assistant at St. Anthony High School, an assistant at Rutgers, the head coach at St. Benedict's Prep, a head coach at Wagner from 2010 to 2012, the head coach at Rhode Island, and now the head coach at UConn.
Yeah.
So he's only ever done the college game.
Exactly. So I could understand his trepidation.
Sure.
Because I don't blame him, because it's not like you're going to Orlando. You're going to the Lakers.
You're going to one of the biggest media markets in the country, and one of the most focused on teams in the NBA, no matter what they're doing. Mm-hmm. Good, bad, or otherwise, they're always in the headlines for everything.
Exactly. So I think he's playing it smart staying in college.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you know what? I would
go for the history. Go for the legacy.
I'm even just going to say this. You know who should coach the Lakers?
Yeah,
LeBron. Be a player coach.
I don't hate the idea of JJ Redick, because
I don't hate that either.
I've listened to him, because I for those who don't know, I'm not a Duke guy, but I've listened to him break down games and break down plays in this. He is very smart.
Yes, he is.
When it comes to the modern game of basketball.
Yeah. But like I say, if that doesn't work out, player coach.
Sure.
Like it makes sense. I mean, I'm sure the NBA will allow him to do it. And
it's LeBron. If there's anybody who they'd allow to do it, it's him.
Exactly. And if he wants to go out of the final year and do that and just take a shot with it, by all means. Like, I know it sounds a little crazy, but who else is going to take that job unless it's somebody he feels comfortable with? If he's going to stay there, he's going to handpick the next coach. And it has to be somebody that can deal with a lot of egos. So there are some names out there, sure. JJ Redick, I think, would be a great fit, but I don't know necessarily if they're going to do it. I know his name was tagged with the job for quite some time, but I think that they really need to hone in on, if you want LeBron to stay there, appeasing him and building a team around him for one final run.
Dug up a list. There is a history and a precedent for player coaches in the NBA. I won't go through the whole list, just couple notable names here. Some dude named Bill Russell was a player coach. You've also got Bob Cousy was a player coach. Let's see what else we got in this list here. Dick McGuire for the Detroit Pistons from 59 to for the 1959 through 1960. Howie Schultz with the Anderson Packers from 1949 1950. Nothing real recent though, because it looks like the most recent one was Terry Dissinger for the Detroit Pistons in the 1971 season, where he coached 2 games and lost them both.
Yeah, so
there's a history, but it's not very common.
Right, but these are very interesting times, and especially if LeBron is on the farewell tour. I think if that was the case, they might be willing to try it.
Yeah, I could say it.
At least for a couple games I could, but like I said, you really want to get somebody in there that's going to be thinking after LeBron.
And that's the thing too, is LeBron ain't going to be there forever. Like, you have to start setting up for the post-LeBron era, which for the Lakers is wild to think about given their history and their notoriety. But they're at that point.
It will be interesting to see who fills the void.
Yeah.
I will say that. I think they'll get a coach very soon. I could see it being a left field pick, though, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I could too.
But, hey, if they want to just let LeBron do it for a couple games, by all means.
Yeah.
It's the NBA. It's showtime out there in LA.
Absolutely.
Definitely have to talk about that when it happens. But in the meantime, hit us up on that hashtag ODPH pod. A lot of NBA news going on. The finals are in full swing. Does Dallas have a chance, or is this all going to be a Boston sweep? And then who is going to be coaching the Lakers? Is it JJ Redick? Is it LeBron?
Is it Ken M?
Is it Coach Duffy?
Oh.
Thoughts to be had. So hit us up on that hashtag. Let's talk about it, shall we? But first, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
The content you are listening to is part of the Nerd Initiative Podcast Network. For more info about the home of pop culture positivity, check out nerdinitiative.com.
Coming back for another segment on this edition of the ODPH podcast, and we have to recap the week that was and the week that is with the WWE.
Hell yeah.
As primarily this past weekend was an event that had a lot of eyes on it that normally might not have tuned in, but there had been some rumblings going on that we alluded to last week, and that was what, Pat?
That would be NXT Battleground, which took place this past Sunday, June 9th, at the UFC Apex in Las Vegas.
Yes. So WWE was doing a crossover with their Endeavor partners in the UFC, and primarily the matches that everybody had big interest in was one, All Ego Ethan Page was debuting in WWE/NXT since he just left AEW in a title match against Trick Williams. And then more importantly, the Forbidden Door was truly swung open to the surprise of everybody. TNA Knockouts champion Jordan Grace was the mystery opponent for NXT Women's Champion Roxanne Perez. So a lot of action was going on with the hype surrounding this. So let's break down the card and give our thoughts about it.
Yeah, so the first match on the card was the ladder match for the inaugural NXT Women's North American Championship, and you had Kalani Jordan win via, climbing the ladder in 12 minutes and 24 seconds.
Solid opener.
Yeah, good opener.
Did some really crazy spots all through this.
Yeah.
So this is something you want to get the crowd hyped with. And Kalani winning, I was kind of surprised at, but I'm not mad at.
I was too. Yeah, no, it was definitely a surprising one. The only rough patch I would say with this match was I don't think the wrestlers were quite prepared for how, I guess, tight it was.
Yeah.
Where the ring was. Because I know that was one thing the announcers made, Vic Joseph, and made a comment to Booker T as the show was starting. That like when the female wrestlers were coming out, they were like, wow, we're really close. And you could definitely tell at some spots that, like, I think they might have misjudged just how tight things were at ringside.
Yeah, when they were trying to move around, like, that's what they said they were really close. Is like, I don't think anybody realized the distance between the ring and the announce tables.
Like, I don't think they showed it, but I think at one point Booker legitimately took a shot from one of the
Oh,
ladders.
he did, yeah.
Because he got hit and then didn't say anything for a couple of minutes, and Vic was like, listen, I tried to warn you.
Yeah. But it was a great match, and like I say, I understand what they're trying to do with the Apex. I mean, that's tight. That is a tight space. I know when the UFC does live events there, that's tight as well. So interesting that they want to go there, but a solid way to start the show.
Yeah. Next up was the tag team match for the NXT Tag Team Championships with Nathan Frazier and Axiom defeating the OC and Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson via pinfall in 11 minutes and 38 seconds to retain their championship.
Not going to lie.
Yeah.
Not my favorite match.
No. I had a few expectations with this, and it did not meet those.
Frazier and Axiom are an interesting team.
Yeah.
And they try playing into that Hulk Hogan era, say your prayers, eat your vitamins, superhero gimmick.
Yeah.
To a degree.
Yeah.
Not like I say, just
not a 1-to-1, but yeah.
But same themes. I don't necessarily know if that works in this day and age.
No.
But going in there against Gallows and Anderson, who really are lost in the shuffle, in my opinion.
A little bit, yeah.
But I don't think they mind too much. I mean, they're an established tag team. They can plug and play wherever you need to.
Yeah.
Putting them in there's just a lot of just interesting storytelling, I guess, to put it mildly and maybe positively.
Yeah.
I just thought that there was a lot of spots they were hitting. They were setting up too long for. I know there was one that I believe Frazier was watching Axiom get beat up on the outside and didn't do anything. And that was kind of awkward. Yeah. So when you start factoring in all of this, I really think it took away from the match. And I thought they should have done the title change here. I think that would have been a great thing to do. But you had the end still, and I'm not sure where we're going from here.
I'm not either, and admittedly, I'm not super familiar with Frazier and Axiom, but like I had high expectations for this because I know Gallows and Anderson, two of the best to ever do it in terms of tag teams, and it just seemed to me that the two groups never got their timing down the entire time. That just for whatever reason, from start to finish over the course of the 11 minutes 38 seconds, the timing was just never there.
Yeah.
And just the abruptness with which the match ended, to me, felt like somebody in the back who was ever producing the match went, oh shit, we're coming up on time. End it.
Yeah.
You know, because it just felt like we're going, and we're done.
Yeah.
Like there was no build where you see somebody hit a finisher a couple times and you're like, all right, this is the end. This is it. There's no way they're kicking out of this. It just, and I'm like, oh, hey, it's over.
Yeah, it was just... It was okay.
It was it was fine. It wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen, but
Right.
I expected more.
Yeah, I do too. Like I said, this was not my favorite match. I just think there was a lot of ring psychology missing from this.
Yeah.
And just the ending was very, very abrupt.
Yep. Next up was an NXT Underground match between Shayna Baszler and Lola Vice. And he had Lola Vice defeat Shayna Baszler via referee stoppage in 10 minutes and 17 seconds.
Well, this was another one I think had promise. I don't necessarily think it delivered.
No.
I think that there was a lot going on with trying to establish the underground rules, so to speak, which is a lot like Josh Barnett's Bloodsport.
Yep.
But not the same, completely not the same. And I think that for where you had two fighters that are legit MMA fighters, they have very noted backgrounds in the sport, to see them come in there, and it's always a weird transition when you try doing MMA fights in the pro wrestling world. And I think that there was a lot of timing issues off on this.
Agreed.
I think the fact that it was technically supposed to be like a lumberjack match, or a lumberjill match, I should say.
Yeah.
Or however you want to describe it.
Yeah.
When they have people on the outside of the ring.
Yeah.
They weren't keeping everybody inside the
They were just
mat.
they were just standing there.
Yeah, like It just seemed very, very confusing about like what exactly was the stipulation, because I think like I say, it was, you're supposed to have people on the outside to get you back in the ring, and it did not happen. You saw Baszler was fighting some of them. I know that
Baszler just started hauling off and knocking people out,
right,
which was one of the highlights of the match for me.
Oh well, it was.
I started laughing. I'm like, "Oh, this is great! She's just knocking people out."
Well, it got to be such a point. It was like, I think that she was trying to sell about, okay, this is just wild, out of control, no rules.
Yeah.
And then she took that weird spot into the steps.
Yeah.
Where, like, granted, she sold it like
Yeah.
she was unconscious.
Yeah.
But it still came off very awkward. And then even the ending just kind of seemed a little bit like, oh, wait, this is how we're ending? Like, it was just a really, like, I think when you talk about things being pressed for time, I think this ending was pressed for time.
I agree too. Like, this match for me was a stinker.
Yeah.
You know, this one wasn't. I had some expectations with this.
I had high hopes.
Because I'm like, all right, it's Shayna Baszler. Not exactly a storied MMA career, but she's got a notable one. You know, you got Lola Vice going there. But I agree with you. The timing seemed off. Just the flow never got going for me. You know, I like I said, I love the spot where they were outside the ring and Shayna just got up and started knocking people out and tossing people around. I'm like, all right, this is great. You know, but I see what they were trying to sell with this match. It just never got to the point of purchase where I'm like, all right, I'm buying in. This is awesome. If there's any good that came out of this match for at least me personally, or in my side personally, my fiance Liz Bailey was watching this. She came out of this liking Shayna Baszler. She's now into Shayna Baszler. Like, Shayna Baszler is an awesome wrestler. So hey, they're at least got that out of it.
Shayna Baszler is very underused, in my opinion, on the main roster. Like,
agreed.
Like, I think that she has potential to be a top heel.
Yeah.
I just wish they would let her loose. I thought they were going to do that when she beat Rousey.
Right.
But unfortunately, it hasn't happened yet. But I'm still keeping hope out for her. I think Baszler's great.
Yeah.
And like I say, I like how she took care of the security. Or like I say, I was even kind of puzzled about who was supposed to be on the outside of the ring.
Yeah, like they all came out clapping. Yeah, let's go. Yeah. And all the meanwhile, you're like hyping up hey, we're at the UFC Apex with showing off all the UFC fighters they had in attendance.
Yeah.
And then you go and do that, and it's like,
I just think there was a lot of miscues with this one, but a good win for Lola, though.
Yeah.
Her character is growing on me, and I think she's really embracing the sport. So, big win there.
Next up was a triple threat match for the NXT North American Championship where Obafemi defended his belt, winning via pinfall in 12 minutes and 3 seconds. Holy shit.
If you're not sold on Femi, I don't know what's wrong with you.
I am.
Femi is the real deal.
God damn.
Femi put on a hell of a performance. He is the big monster that is going to eventually get up to the main roster, and I'll even say he could fill in that Brock Lesnar role. Like, he is that good, and he's that young to do it. I thought this was a great match. I thought that they were doing a lot of good things here.
This match was nuts.
Yeah, like I say, Coffey looked good in this one. Wes Lee, it was great seeing him back.
Yeah.
He took a couple crazy spots, though. I was
Obafemi tossing him out of the camera frame.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, like I say, they were doing a lot of very cool things in this match. So I was very happy with this one. I am just curious about who they're going to build up to face Femi. I think eventually it's going to be him versus Wes Lee one-on-one.
Could be.
I think they're going to take the scenic route to get there, though.
Probably.
Because I still have a feeling, especially we saw the post-match beatdown with Gallus taking out Wes Lee.
Yep.
Forbidden Door is open. The partnership with TNA, to our knowledge, is still there. I'm going to say we get some rascals to make an appearance.
Okay.
So I would not doubt that. I don't have a timetable. It could be Tuesday.
Could be.
As they are loading up NXT with Cody Rhodes as we record tonight.
Yeah.
So expect big things. They're not going to do that just for no reason. I'm going to put that out there right now.
This is true. Next up was the co-main event of the evening, and this was a singles match for the NXT Women's Championship with Roxanne Perez defeating Jordynne Grace and her earring via pinfall in 13 minutes, 57 seconds.
Love this match.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, Jordan lost her earring, which got stuck in Roxanne's leg tights.
Leg tights, yeah.
This match
ripped it out of her ear.
Yeah, this match was the big win for me.
Yep.
I really enjoyed this. I didn't think it was perfect, but it told a great story.
Yeah.
Roxanne being the dominant heel, so to speak, doing a lot of things to rile up Grace, I think worked.
Yeah.
The only thing that I thought took away from this match, and granted, it almost had to, was the outside interference.
Yeah, I can understand that, but I think given just at least the level we're hearing and reading about this partnership between WWE, NXT, and TNA, it doesn't make a lot of sense now. But I think once we hit down the road and at the end of the year, whenever this plays through, we'll sit there and go, oh, okay, you know what? At the time, this made absolutely no freaking sense. But now that we're here at whatever the end result is, I get it now.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see this get ran back. I'm hoping anyway.
It will. I'm probably on TNA.
Well, like I say, they have a pay-per-view coming up against All Odds.
Yeah.
Where I believe Jordan has an open challenge. I would love to see somebody from the NXT roster go there and challenge, if not Roxanne herself. And I'd like to see what happens. Because I have a sinking suspicion it's going to be Ash by Elegance who challenges Jordan. We're not going to have the Forbidden Door there, which I have to applaud the announcers. They almost said Dana Brooke.
Yeah, they did.
Which, I
yeah,
mean,
they did.
That
I could also see them doing a tag match, because Tatum Paxley also came out in the middle of this match as well. And that's when Ash by Elegance came out. I could see them doing a tag match with like Roxanne and Jordan teaming up against Tatum and Ash.
On a future show, yes, not on the pay-per-view.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Oh, I'm sure there's going to be a lot more happening. In fact, when we get to our next segment, I'm going to tell you right now, I have a full feeling we are getting another Forbidden Door member that's making the trek to Scotland. But
say his name and he appears?
We'll talk about it when we get there.
Okay. Next up was the main event of the evening, and this was a singles match for the NXT Championship with Trick Williams defending his belt and winning via pinfall in 12 minutes and 11 seconds over Ethan Page.
I thought this match was solid.
Yeah, it was good.
I thought it was too short.
Yes.
I would love to have seen them pull something crazy and have Ethan Page win.
I was fully anticipating it.
But it just kind of seemed like the show ended after Trick came back and made the quick rally.
Yeah.
Like I say, I don't know if they're pressed for time or not.
I think they were, because I got the feeling like at the end, I'm like, all right, I feel like they're cutting this early because something's going to happen. Someone from TNA is going to show up as like the next challenger for Trick Williams. Mm-hmm. And I sat there waiting for the usual Triple H, Shawn Michaels shenanigans where they show the little copyright card in the bottom portion of the screen and oh, just kidding, it's not the end. But then it faded to black.
Yeah. It was interesting to see how this ended. It just kind of felt very lackluster.
Yeah.
I mean, it was good.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, don't get it wrong. I thought the show was good.
Yeah.
But it came in with so much hype that I thought it fumbled the ball a couple places, and it never seemed to catch on pace. It
recovered a little, at least for me. Like the opening match was good. Second match, it stumbled a little bit. Third match, it stumbled even more. Regained its footing a little bit with the North American Championship with Oba Femi, because that was holy fuck.
That was great.
And then it kind of gained even more footing with Roxanne Perez, Jordynne Grace. Now it wasn't perfect footing, but it's still standing on two legs. And then the ending, it wasn't like necessarily stumbling or falling over, but it was wobbling a little bit.
Yeah, so I think next time around, they'll definitely reload up a little bit.
Yeah.
I think tonight, as we record on NXT, they will have some interesting setup with Cody Rhodes obviously being there. I'm not doubting we see maybe another TNA superstar come in or somebody else.
Could be.
I think they're going to really want to make that show big. So expect something to go down on that tonight. I can't tell you what. I can't tell you who. But expect something big.
And the next card for NXT is Heatwave, which is taking place in Toronto, Ontario, Canada on July 7th. Of course, that is the day after Money in the Bank.
Mm-hmm. So definitely be some headlines coming out of that one.
Absolutely.
But before we even get there, the shows itself, though, this past weekend, kind of okay.
Yeah.
Nothing really too much to write home about.
Yeah.
Because everybody is shifting gears now towards Glasgow, Scotland.
Or looking past it in some cases.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, Friday Night SmackDown is what it is. You know, they did add a stipulation to the Cody Rhodes AJ Styles match for Clash at the Castle that it's going to be an I Quit match.
Mm-hmm.
So we might get a Super Cena performance out of Cody Rhodes against AJ Styles with I Quit. But hey, I'm not against it.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the big one I think everyone's talking about is the ongoing, whatever you want to call it, between Liv Morgan and Dirty Dominic Mysterio, or should we call him Daddy Dominic now?
Well, that whole storyline's picking up a lot of steam. I'm just curious when Rhea is coming back.
Hopefully soon, because I want to see her destroy somebody, because someone's going to get the ass kicking of a lifetime.
Yeah, I don't know what her injury status is, but Liv Morgan is playing it very well.
Yeah.
She's become must-watch TV as far as this feud is going.
Yeah, I mean, the bit on Monday night where she gave Dominic the hotel key card, and at first I couldn't tell what it was. I'm like, what the fuck did she give him? I thought she gave him something else. I was like, what the hell is this? And then they said in a segment afterwards, they're like, oh yeah, she gave me her hotel key card, and I'm like, oh shit, this is picking up steam.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how that all shapes up.
Yeah.
But like we say, the roads are all pointing to Glasgow, Scotland this weekend.
Yeah, Friday Night SmackDown going to emanate from Glasgow, Scotland this Friday, so that should be a hot crowd. But yeah, let's talk about the card as we know it. I don't think they'll add any matches to this, just because 5 seems to be what they've been running with on the non-Mania cards, and that's what we're currently at. A lot of Scottish, Irish representation on this card, and understandably so.
Yes.
First match we're going to talk about is the triple threat tag team match for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship, with Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill defending their belts against Alba Fire and Isla Dawn and Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark.
So this is going to be a great way to start the match. I think this is what's going to kick everything off.
Probably.
I think what they're trying to do is really establish the women's tag team division, which is great.
Uh-huh.
They will definitely have a big show out.
Yes.
I still think it's going to be Cargill and Belair, though.
I would like to see Fire and Dawn win it, just because, hey, home cooking.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be Bianca and Jade, though.
Yeah, I don't think they're ready to split them up just yet.
No.
I think they really are trying to get Jade over, because like I say, I could see them going with the belts to SummerSlam, if not to Survivor Series at the latest.
Yeah.
And then the turn happens, because I truly believe we're going to see Jade versus Bianca at Mania next year.
Probably. Next up is a singles match for the WWE Intercontinental Championship, with Sami Zayn defending his belt against Chad Gable, and presumably Otis, Tozawa, and Maxine Dupree will be at ringside with him.
See, I'm a little torn on this.
All right.
Now, Chad Gable, and I'm just going to address this very quickly. The contract status is a non-factor. He's not going anywhere.
He re-signed up when they were giving him the Shorty G gimmick.
Yeah, he's going to be with WWE. I think what he's just doing is being very smart, and he's really proving why he should get a big money contract.
Absolutely.
His heel work is very, very good right now.
Uh-huh.
If they can make the audience feel uncomfortable,
you're doing it.
He's done his job. And what he's been doing with the Alpha Academy and really going there's a movie that you're talking about, wrestling coaches, or a guy that's like a wrestling coach and he's super intense. I can't think of the name of it. It'll come to me. Hashtag ODPH pod. I'm sure somebody's going to mention it too. Foxcatcher.
Oh, okay.
Something kind of like in that vibe.
Yeah.
You know, that's what he's doing to a degree. To a degree.
Yeah.
And to see how he's attacking this and really just driving the point about he's so driven to win, I think you almost have to give him the belt at this time, but I'm not doubting this is going to be Zayn to win because Otis finally turns on him.
I think it is, because you had the moment on Monday Night Raw this week where Sammy caught up with Akira Tozawa and Maxine in a walking boot, apologized to them for what happened on Monday Night Raw last week, and they forgave him, it almost seemed like. And then you had Otis quasi-apologize It was like, hey, I understand the mistakes happen. You didn't mean for it to happen, whatever. And then but then he had the kind of like mysterious, like he attacked Sammy, but he also took off the shirt and ripped off the Alpha Academy shirt. So I think Sammy's going to win, but it's going to be because Tozawa and Maxine Dupree finally have had enough, and they stop Chad from winning in some capacity. And then I don't expect Otis to be out there at the start. I expect at some point, halfway, 3/4 of the way through this match, the crowd's going to pop because Otis is going to be coming down the ramp or the entryway from the back, coming out to confront Chad. And he's going to attack Chad. No DQ. Sammy will win clean, but I think Sammy's going to retain.
I think he's going to retain, and then I'm already going to say it right now because I don't think anybody's seeing this one coming per se now.
Yeah.
Oh, they're going to do this move, and then on Monday Night Raw, Gable comes out with the Creed brothers.
Ooh.
And lays waste to everybody
Could
there.
be.
Maybe with Ivy Nile too.
They're in Corpus Christi, Texas next Monday.
I'm just saying,
Could be.
the Creed brothers haven't been on TV that much
couple
lately.
weeks.
I know they were talking way back when.
Yeah.
I think this is when you break away the Alpha Academy. I don't know if anybody steps into that role as the fourth member of that. But I think that's where they're going with this, and that can set up for Otis versus Gable down the road.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm expecting big things there. And then for Sammy, Sammy, I think might have a contender that nobody's talking about just in the wind. And I think that might be one Karrion Kross.
Ooh.
Just going to put that out there.
Okay. Next up is a singles match for the WWE Women's Championship with Bayley defending her belt against Piper Niven.
I am super amped up for this.
Good for Piper.
Exactly. Piper is amazing. And the fact that they finally got her away from being, Dewdrop. Mm-hmm. And now she's actually going to have a title match.
The happy-go-lucky, smiling, and, whatever else, and she just wants to kick people's ass now.
Yeah, she's a monster heel. Listen, let it happen. This is going to be a great match. Bayley's winning.
Yeah.
But I would say if they wanted to do a title change to get the crowd going, I would do it with Piper.
This is one that could happen.
I think this could definitely happen. But I'm going to say, for my pick, it's going to be Bayley.
I'm going to say Bayley as well. Next up is the match for the undisputed WWE Championship between Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles. And, of course, as I alluded to before, this is the I Quit match.
Yeah, so this is going to be interesting. How this is going to go. I'm really trying to think of how I could see this playing out because, obviously, AJ Styles did the fake retirement a la Mark Henry. His now accepting of his heel persona.
Gallows and Anderson will be there. I'll guarantee you that.
More than likely, I'll say. But I could also see this possibly being AJ's last match.
Really?
The thing about it, and he's been not quiet about this, is he sees the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
And I believe, to paraphrase, he said he wants to go out on a great story with a great match.
Okay.
What better way than to go out and tear the roof off the place with Cody Rhodes, unless you're going to wait till Mania to do it? Because I could see him coming back at Mania.
Yeah.
Like I say, just something in that kind of aspect, like what Chris Jericho used to do way back when.
Sure.
So I could see this playing out, that this might be the last time we see him for a while, because the thing is, unless he wins, the feud's over.
Yep.
Where does he go from here?
A certain 3-letter company he used to wrestle for.
Oh,
now that you got that forbidden door open, I'm just saying,
please,
for everything he did for TNA and all the time and tenure and whatever else you want to say he gave to that company, finish his story with Cody. Not to use that whole phrase again. Take a little side trip, go to TNA, run some feuds with TNA, whoever you want to face, whatever you want to do. Run back some classic matches, whatever else. Come back for Mania. Come back for make an appearance at, or make a return at the Rumble.
Yeah.
Have him gone from TV. Mention him occasionally, like, oh yeah, in case you need to, just a reminder. Promote it on social, because I know TNA was retweeting the stuff with Jordan Grace on their Twitter account. I'm not going to call it X. Have AJ go over to TNA.
Yeah.
Hey, he's kind of alluding to this as kind of his farewell tour. Obviously he can't make the run through WCW. WCW's not around anymore.
I don't think he'd want to go.
Wouldn't want to go. New Japan, might make an appearance. You never know. But had a lot of time in TNA. what better time than a farewell tour through TNA?
TNA is the legacy for him.
Yeah.
And I think that should happen. I would love to see him at Slammiversary.
I could see it.
I don't know necessarily, but if they wanted to do that and let him get that farewell run for a while,
sure,
by all means.
Why not?
And then come back when there's something to come back to. I think if they wanted to do that, that would make perfect sense. I just think that Cody, there's no way Cody's losing here.
No.
But then you go down 0-2, the feud's done.
Yep.
So then you now have to get everything going towards Gunther.
Probably.
So
well, no, it's not. It's not Gunther. Gunther's has the match against the World Heavyweight Champion. The stipulation with King of the Ring is they have a championship match with the champion of their brand.
I still think something weird is going to happen there. I can't tell you what. Like, I just have a feeling, but we'll have to wait to see about it.
I think it's gonna be Randy. I think he'll face Randy.
Well, Randy would be a great opponent for him too. That's the one great thing about Cody.
You're taking out a lot of names, Cody, and you faced a lot of legends, but I've beaten more.
Well, yeah, I mean,
legend killer Randy.
Well, Randy and him, that's been long waiting to happen. So
yeah.
if they want to get that going, sure. Like I say, with Gunther, it's going to be really interesting when he sets up to face it. I know I say interesting a lot, but that's kind of the state of pro wrestling right now.
Yeah.
Because if he goes, depending on what happens in the next match,
yeah,
who is he going to be facing? Because there is a lot of moving parts with this, more than people think there is.
So the last match we got to talk about is a singles match for the World Heavyweight Championship with Damian Priest defending his belt against Drew McIntyre. And there was a stipulation added to this match on Monday. On Monday night, Drew McIntyre wrestled a match against Finn Balor. The stipulation of that match was if Drew McIntyre defeated Finn Balor, the Judgment Day, in specifically Dominic Mysterio, Finn Balor, and J.D. McDonough, presumably Carlito too, even though he's not officially Judgment Day, but presumably Carlito too, would be banned from ringside. Drew McIntyre did pick up that win, so as a result, the rest of Judgment Day is banned from ringside.
So this should be Drew's.
If he comes out to Broken Dreams, I think it is.
Well, this is the match that I think you can do one of two things here.
Uh-huh.
Where I think they're going to go with is Drew is ready to win, and then CM Punk shows up and screws him out of the title again.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be how this ends, but I'd be very, very worried about that crowd. But the thing is, Drew's going to be the face here.
Yeah.
There's no way he's going to get booed in Scotland. Sorry,
no.
It's not happening.
No.
So I think that you have him involved here, and I think that with Punk, they'll build up the heat. They'll continue their feud. They come back to the States. You can start running a program to get ready for Money in the Bank, unless both are going to be in it, like depending on what's going to happen there.
Right.
The only other option you have here is Drew wins clean, and then Gunther comes out and says, I'm not waiting until SummerSlam. Because you're going to have to try having Drew be a heel,
right,
or face champion again.
Yeah.
Which, depending on what you're doing with Punk, but the thing is, you've already set up Drew and Punk has to happen.
Absolutely.
So what happens? Does Drew win? Then Punk beats him for the title, and then Punk drops it to Gunther? Like, you start playing hot potato a little much. So I think just in this scenario here, I mean, unless you make Damian Priest a full face,
right. Which he's kind of teetering on.
He's teetering on it, which would make sense if you're going to have him versus Gunther.
Right.
I think Priest needs to win to validate that world title. And I think his run, I think if he doesn't win, it's going to really cost him. But then if Punk helps Drew win, what does that say about Priest's run? And I think that they're gearing up to basically have Gunther take it from him.
So I think it's going to be Damian retaining. And I think it's going to be Punk ends up costing Drew McIntyre the match. Because, listen, Punk was already giddy as shit when he cost McIntyre a shot at the belt, or cost him the belt at WrestleMania. He'll be even more happy the fact that he cost it for him in the biggest match of his life.
Yeah.
I don't care what WrestleMania he wrestles on, or in the future, or if you consider any of the past ones, and I don't care who the opponent is. You could have time travel invented and have him wrestle Prime Rock, Prime Stone Cold, and Prime pick your other third guy in a fatal four-way. You know, it could be Hulk Hogan in his prime. And this still wouldn't be as good a match, because Punk's going to come out, cost him the match. And listen, it's going to be. I cost you the belt at the biggest match of your career, and that sets it. That sets up their thing. I think if Punk wasn't at least near ready to go, you wouldn't have had the whole thing, the whole saga with him locked in the locker room, that they would have brought it up. I think if he wasn't ready to go, they wouldn't have brought it up, and they wouldn't have alluded to it on social media. And I think if he wasn't damn near close to ready to go, they wouldn't have been continuing this stuff on screen with him.
You would think.
Yes, it's box office. Yes, it gets you hits on social media and YouTube and whatever else. But usually in the past, when a guy's hurt, they're gone. You don't see him. You don't hear from him. The only instance I think we ever heard from was Roman and his face run, when he was out there, they were checking up on him because they didn't want people to forget about him.
Right.
But Punk, we've been seeing, admittedly, not every week, but more consistently than is normal for a guy who's hurt. So I think Punk is ready to go. I think he is going to come back and cost Drew McIntyre the match. So that'll set them up for SummerSlam. You don't need a build for that. That's already been pre-built. That'll then set up for Priest versus Gunther at SummerSlam. Priest will retain at Clash at the Castle. I think Priest will retain again at
Money in the Bank.
At Money in the Bank. Or no, sorry, SummerSlam. Because that's the match. I'm looking ahead to SummerSlam. Because what's after SummerSlam? Bash in Berlin. I think you have some shenanigans. What is it? Gunther wants to run it back. Hey, I didn't get a clean win. The outside interference, whatever instance or whatever reasoning you want to use. And they go and Priest goes, fine. You know what? I will face you again, and I'll prove to you I'm the better man, and that I don't care what your title is, whether you're the ring general or whether you're the king of the ring. I'm still better than you. And Gunther will get that moment and win the belt in Berlin.
I mean, it's interesting. That, like I say, I could see that happening. I could really see that happening. But that's the one great thing about the Triple H era that we just don't know. I think that the only thing we know for certain is we are expecting a hot crowd. They'll be ready to go. I think Joe Hendry does come out.
Say his name and he appears.
Yeah, because I believe in Joe Hendry. So I think he opens the show. I think he might even be the one that comes in to face off with one Chad Gable.
Reportedly, he has recorded a song with one Xavier Woods.
Yes. So,
reportedly.
So like I say, anything is possible in this era.
Yeah.
But I think overall, though, the card looks very solid.
Yeah, it looks real good.
There could be a title change. I don't necessarily know. I think there's just so many moving parts involved with the Damian Priest-Drew McIntyre match. It literally can go any way.
Yeah.
But I think overall, we're expecting a great show to go down this weekend. So it'll be on the Peacock Network. Check your local listings when that is.
I want to say it's 2 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yes, 2 p.m. Eastern is when the card kicks off. So probably a noon or 1 o'clock pre-show time.
Yeah. So that being said, hit us up on that hashtag ODPHpod. WWE Clash at the Castle. What is your predictions? What is your reaction to NXT TakeOver Battleground? And what else is going on in the world of pro wrestling? Let's have that discussion. If you want even more pro wrestling talk, we'll swing on over to Nerd Initiative every Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Wrestling Night Live.
R.I.P. Ricochet.
Yeah, we'll talk about that next week when I got a little more feeling and sense of what's happening there. That is a topic right now, but I think there's a lot more speculation going on with that. And if you really want to hear the thoughts, well, Thursday night, 8 p.m., we'll definitely start getting that conversation rolling. But in the meantime, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
This is Tom from Tom Joe Lou,
This is Matt from Sideroom Sounds.
and you're listening to ODPH Podcast.
Wanna go where no one knows my name, to the desert, the oceans, or the plains. 'Cause I wanna...
Coming back for the final segment on this edition of the ODPH Sports Edition. Pad, what you got?
Obviously got to talk a little bit of local minute and looking at the standings for the Eastern League division, Eastern League division in AA minor league baseball. Of course, that is where our Binghamton Rumble Ponies play. Currently, Binghamton is in third place. They've got the Portland Sea Dogs, who are the affiliate of the Boston Red Sox, in first place with a record of 31-26. Hartford Yard Goats, who are the Colorado Rockies affiliate, are in second place with a record of 30-26. So they're a half game out of first place. Binghamton, as I mentioned, third place with a record of 28-27. They are 2 games out of first place. You've got the Somerset Patriots, who are in fourth place with a record of 28-29. They are 3 games out of first place. New Hampshire, who is the Toronto Blue Jays affiliate, is in 5th place with a record of 26-31. They are 5 games out of first place. And then you've got the Reading Fighting Phils, who are, of course, if you couldn't tell, the Phillies affiliate, who are in last place with a record of 25-32 and 6 games out of first place. Looking at the schedule from this past week, Binghamton was on the road playing Bowie. They lost their game on Tuesday by the final score of 4-1. Lost on Wednesday by the final score of 6-5. Lost again on Thursday by the final score of 6-3. Picked up a win on Friday, though, winning 7-2. Won again on Saturday by the final score of 7-3. And lost on Sunday by the final score of 3-0. They are at home this week for a home series against the Somerset Patriots. So you got a little bit of AA Subway Series action. Got a game on Tuesday, June 11th, 6:35 p.m. Eastern. Got another game on Wednesday, June 12th at 6:35 p.m. Eastern. Couple of promotions going on with this one. It is, of course, We Care Wednesday, which says every Wednesday at Maravito Stadium in 2024 is a We Care Wednesday, thanks to our friends at M&T Bank. Each Wednesday, a local nonprofit organization is highlighted for their work to make our community a better place to live in. And then one of the highlights for this is Rumble in the Kitchen. It says, back and tastier than ever is Rumble in the Kitchen, a cooking competition pitting some of the best local chefs against one another in a chopped style cooking contest for the Bronze Chef Trophy. Purchase your tasting tickets for an additional $10. That is, of course, presented by the Binghamton Rumble Ponies and Performance Food Service. And it's also the promotion or the local nonprofit they're featuring, knocking cancer out of the ballpark, prostate cancer. That is the highlight that's going on. That is presented by Minor League Baseball. Then you've got a game on Thursday at 6:35 p.m. Eastern. There will be fireworks that night. It is, of course, going to be Pride Night. So it says, celebrate your pride with the Binghamton Rumble Ponies as we highlight those who are members of the LGBTQIA plus community. Then there will be a Pride Night rally towel. Says, baseball is for all. Celebrate Pride Night with the Binghamton Rumble Ponies and Binghamton Pride Coalition. The first 500 fans will receive a limited edition Binghamton Rumble Ponies Pride rally towel. Looking at the towel now, that looks awesome.
That does look awesome.
That is a very nice towel. Friday, they've got a game at 7:05 p.m. Eastern. Of course, it is Friday, so there will be fireworks, but it is also, at least the first that I can remember, it will be a Binghamton Creatures Night. So this reads, you are now entering the Pony Zone. Rethink everything you know about sound, sight, and mind as the Binghamton Rumble Ponies transform into the Binghamton Creatures. Now, if you don't know what I'm alluding to here, obviously Binghamton, one of the things that's, I don't want to say most known for, but well known for, is being the birthplace of Rod Serling, who, of course, would go on to create the Twilight Zone television series. So the Binghamton Creatures are kind of done in an homage, to the Twilight Zone. So they will be doing a special jerseys going on with that. Another one of the highlights going on that night is it is Outstanding Students Night. It says the Binghamton Rumble Ponies are partnering up with local schools in the Southern Tier to recognize students who've gone above and beyond in the classroom. If your school is interested in being a part of the Outstanding Students Program, email Amy Fancher at amyf@bingrp.com for more information. Also, there will be the Binghamton Creatures specialty jersey, that, as I alluded to. Also, the first 1,000 fans in attendance will receive a Binghamton Creatures replica jersey. I got to say, I've seen the logo. It looks awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff they're doing. I love the Pride Night one they got. That does look like a cool design too.
It is. Then you got the game Saturday, June 15th at 6:07 p.m. Eastern, because it is 6:07 Saturdays, which does say join us on Saturdays as we recognize the great communities of the 607. Each Saturday, we will pay tribute to a different community thanks to our friends at the Agency and Leadership Alliance. They will also be wearing the Bing, I guess you can call them City Connect jerseys.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know they have a city style one.
Yeah, it's not an official City Connect, but
right.
That's the closest thing. It will be also play ball for all weekend, and then this says Minor League Baseball, USA Softball, and the Rumble Ponies are looking to grow the love of the game. Children 12 and under have the opportunity to participate in a 3-hour morning clinic.
Oh my God.
To learn how to play the game from their favorite Rumble Ponies players and coaches. Each participant will receive a ticket to the game that night. So if you got a kid who's looking to play baseball or looking to get a little bit better, I would say there's no better place to learn. So definitely give that a check out.
No, like I say, that's crazy. They're doing the 3-hour thing in the morning, and then they're going to play at night. Like that's why I was like, oh my god, like that's dedication to the fans. But that's also something that they do. I mean, that's minor league baseball 101.
Absolutely. And then they got the game on Sunday, June 16th, 1:05 p.m. Eastern. Of course, this is a Kids Eat Free Sunday, which is every Sunday, kids eat free at the ballpark thanks to our friends at McDonald's, Mac Clark. All children 12 and under will receive a voucher for a hot dog and a small soda. Also, they're back. The B Mets are back. The Rumble Ponies are going through a time warp and becoming the Binghamton Mets for a special game of throwback fun. Also, it's Father's Day, so it's to celebrate the father's figure in your life with Rumble Ponies baseball and a memorable afternoon at the ballpark. Bring a mitt and baseball for a special pregame catch on the field from 12 p.m. to 12:30. Also, it is a senior stroll Sunday, so every Sunday at Marabito Stadium is a home instead senior stroll Sunday. All fans 60 and older can take advantage of discounted ticket specials at the Visions Federal Credit Union starting gate box office. For the first 30 minutes that gates are open, all fans can take a stroll around the warning track. It's also Kids Club Sundays, and that says every Sunday at Marabito Stadium is a Dick's Sporting Goods House of Sports Kids Club Sunday. It's never too late to sign up for your little Rumble Ponies fan to the coolest club in town. For only $15, you get a ticket to every Sunday home game, lanyard with ID badge, t-shirt, member exclusive events, 3 exclusive kids club events at Dick's House of Sports, a one-time 15% off your purchase, 15% off your purchase in the Armory Team Store. So you got that going on. It's also another bobblehead night, and that is Luis Angel Acuna and Ronald Acuna bobbleheads. This is the first 1,000 fans in attendance will receive a Luis Angel Acuna and Ron Acuna bobblehead. Ron Acuna is the father of Braves star Ronald Acuna Jr. and 2023 Rumble Ponies star Luis Angel Acuna. Ron and Luis Angel are the first father and son to play in Binghamton. So definitely that's going to be awesome. Mm-hmm. It's also Father's Day barbecue in the park. It says treat dad to a ball game and backyard barbecue this Father's Day with the Rumble Ponies. Limited availability. Our Father's Day barbecue includes hot dogs, hamburgers, barbecue chicken breasts, sausage medley sandwich, and chicken speedies. An assortment of sides and desserts will be offered as well. So definitely give the Binghamton Rumble Ponies a call to reserve your spot soon, because I imagine those spots are going very quickly. Mm-hmm. So for more tickets, information, all that good stuff, bingrp.com.
Nothing like going to minor league baseball in the summertime.
Absolutely.
Say that.
I'll be there Friday, so I'm excited to get down there.
If you can catch Pat, he might do an autograph for you.
Absolutely. Then we got to talk a little bit Major League Baseball because, hey, we are past Memorial Day, so we're at the 1/3 point of the season. Not going to go through everything, just the standings and where things currently stand. Let's start in the National League East, where the Philadelphia Phillies, holy fuck, sitting at a record of 45-20, so they got a win percentage of .692.
Yeah.
They're in first place. They're ahead of the Atlanta. They're 9 games ahead of the Atlanta Braves, which is just wild to me. 35-28. Washington Nationals, Mets, and Marlins say thanks for playing. Mm-hmm. You got the Milwaukee Brewers, who are in first place of the National League Central, 39-27. They are 7 games up on the Cincinnati Reds, Chicago Cubs, and St. Louis Cardinals. Pirates are half game behind those guys, so Central competitive as always. And you've got the National League West, where the LA Dodgers are sitting in first place with a record of 41-26. They are 7.5 games up on the San Diego Padres, 8 games up on the San Francisco Giants, 9.5 games up on the Arizona Diamondbacks, and 17.5 games up on the Colorado Rockies. Yikes. Then you switch over to the American League. You've got the Seattle Mariners in first place in the National League West. 5.5 games up on the Texas Rangers, 7.5 game up on those bastards in Houston, 11.5 games up on the LA Angels. Yikes. And then 12 games up on the Oakland Athletics, which, that's about right. In that American League Central, you've got the Cleveland Guardians in first place with a record of 42-22. Kansas City Royals are 4.5 games out of first place. They're in second place. Third place is the Minnesota Twins. They're 8 games out of first place. Detroit's in next with their 10.5 games out. And then there's the Chicago White Sox. I am so sorry for the fans of the Chicago White Sox. They've been going through hell lately. They were on like a 13-game, 14-game losing streak. They're 26.5 games out of first place.
Yikes.
Not good. Then we get to the last division in baseball, and arguably the best division in baseball, because that is the American League East. You got the New York Yankees, baby, sitting in first place, 47-21. Baltimore Orioles are in second place, 2.5 games out of first place. Then there's this steep drop off.
Yeah.
Boston's
to say the least.
Boston's in third. They're at 500, 13 games out of first place. Toronto is in fourth with they're 14 games out of first place. Tampa Bay is in last, and they are 15 games out of first place. So the way things are looking, might be reuniting with the Phillies in the World Series this year.
Well, it would be something to do. I mean, the Yankees are looking great. I know that there's a couple question marks, I guess, surrounding certain infielders, I guess, like if we need to upgrade or not. I'm seeing that pop up on social media.
Well, I know Rizzo is hitting like absolute dog doo-doo these days. Like I saw one stat the other day that for the month of June, he was whatever for whatever, but his batting average was like .040, which is awful.
Yeah.
But he's in a slump. He's grinding. Like this happens to every player
during
the season. He will come out of it.
Yeah, like I heard I just caught on a couple different like TikToks and sports shows. People were saying the Yankees need upgrades. Like, no, they're doing just fine. They only need to do one thing, and that's re-sign Soto.
I mean, the only thing I would maybe consider looking at is maybe a couple bullpen pieces. The bullpen's been good, but there's been a couple hiccups. Like I know there was a game the other day where they were up like 8-2, 9-2 or something like that. And then they let the opponent get back into it. And all of a sudden it was like 8-5. And I'm like, guys, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
But the biggest concern for me was obviously Garrett Cole has not pitched this year. He had the injury or whatever you want to call it in spring training. Making rehab starts down in the minor leagues. Very good starts from the stats I've seen. But the fact that the starting rotation has been as good as it is without their ace Garrett Cole. Now, I realize he's been in attendance and he's been at most of the home games up until his rehab stint. But the fact that the rotation is doing this well, especially Stroman, who I don't know what we're going to get out of this guy.
Yeah, he's shown up.
He's shown up. Luis Gil, holy hell, that surprised the shit out of me. Won Rookie of the Month, and then Rookie of the Week, and won American League Pitcher of the Week the other week in the same weekend. Like he's been pitching out of his mind. Rodon has surprised the shit out of me. I think he got his 8th or 9th win yesterday.
I think he finally realized the situation he was in.
He's finally picked it up, and Nestor's been great as well. It's been fun to see.
It's been fun to watch, and like I say, it makes it very competitive because most of the other divisions are now starting to get a little separation in the pack. I think for the Yanks, they're doing the right things. Baltimore's contending. That's always good to see. A little changing of the guard, so to speak, between it always being the Yanks and Boston. Yeah. I just think for the Yankees, though, they need to make sure Soto is re-signed. That's the only thing I care about. And they're talking during the season. This is the first time the Steinbrenner coalition now has done that. So the fact that's happening, that's kind of a big deal.
We should also note that the ballot for the MLB All-Star Game is up if you go to MLB.com/vote. The first phase of voting is from June 5th through June 27th. So that is to help pick which players you want to see in the All-Star Game. There's a second phase of voting from June 30th through July 3rd. That is how you vote for the starters. So we've definitely got that going on. You can vote, I think it's you can vote 5 times a day, every day from now as we record, and that ends on June 7th, 2024 at 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern. And I won't go through the whole list. I'm showing count. There's a lot of dudes.
There's quite a few.
There's quite a few dudes nominated. I did my customary all Yankees American League ballot. Still got to do my non-biased ballot, but a lot of good guys.
Yeah, definitely something to vote for the Midsummer Classic. So if you're a baseball fan, you definitely want to get on top of that.
Absolutely.
And then for me, I mean, this was a story that broke last week, didn't get a lot more information on, and everybody's been kind of quiet about this, which is very interesting. So last week, the press conference for UFC 303, which is hyping up the fight between Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler, was postponed.
Mysteriously without any reason given.
Yeah. So as far as we have heard, the fight, which is supposed to go down on June 29th, is still on. So they haven't really given a lot of reasons behind it. I'm reading from an article on ESPN.com that McGregor's Twitter page put out an official statement, quote, "In consulting the UFC, today's press conference was canceled due to a series of obstacles outside of our control. I apologize to my Irish fans and fans around the world for the inconvenience and appreciate all your passion and support. I can't wait to put on the greatest show of all time." or all-time show in the Octagon, end quote. So I thought it was kind of interesting that this has really flown under the radar. I think people are wondering if Conor is really going to come back and fight. Obviously, his last time we saw him in the Octagon, he got his leg broke by Justin Poirier. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, the fight is box office.
Yep.
There's a lot of ramifications that are going to happen. And with Conor, love him or hate him, he moves the needle. So
fight is 2.5 weeks away.
Yeah, so they might not have a press conference. I don't think they need it. I think they just need him to show up.
The fight's been announced for long enough that you really don't need a conference.
Well, they don't.
It's also Conor.
Right, but I know they really want to make this into a big pay-per-view win because, let's face it, right now, I mean, the UFC still has stars, in my opinion. They're still doing great cards, but are they really generating that big box office appeal that they had?
For individual fights, yes. For cards in general, not really.
Right, that's why I say, they do have a great fighters on there, but when you talk about the Chael Sonnens, the Conor McGregor's, the ones that really are characters that sell fights, or personas, I should say, they have charisma that sells fight. Where are they? And they're very few and far between.
Yeah.
Like I say, we just had a great fight with Poirier and Makhachev that the storyline was basically Dustin Poirier was retiring.
Yeah, he said if he would have won the belt, he would have retired.
Yeah, which is amazing. Like I say, and I'm not doubting that was his last fight. Period.
Given the fact that he broke his nose, rib, and tore his ACL, he's probably done.
Well, I say at this stage, there really isn't anything for him to come back for unless he wants to do a big money fight, like a non-title marquee fight against somebody. So, like I say, when in this day and age, we need to have something that's really going to spark the crowd. I know probably the closest the UFC has right now is Chimaev.
Yeah,
and
that's kind of an aura than a personality.
Right. Well, you put him on the mic, he's known to say whatever comes to mind. So
True.
I think in this case we have to wait and see what's going to happen with Conor. I know that it will be dominating social media if he doesn't show. There'll be a lot of questions that fans will have.
ESPN Plus won't work.
Yeah, like I say, there will be a lot of things that go down on the 29th.
Few guarantees in life, but the few that are guarantees: death, taxes, and ESPN shitting the bed during a Conor McGregor fight.
Yeah, it's happened for us multiple times, folks. We get first to 10. So something to keep an eye out for in the upcoming weeks because the 29th will be coming sooner than later.
Yep.
That being said, for anything and everything that is the ODPH, you can find it at odphpodcast.com. That's it for this week in sports. So for the one and only Padawan J.
Fuck the Astros.
I'm your host, Ken. Thank you as always for listening to the ODPH podcast. We'll see you next time.
It's such waste of time swiping left and swiping right on people you could know. 'Cause anyone who's worth a damn be worth way more than a picture could ever show. You could find the right light, find the right angle, and never find your soul. And it can feel like a losing battle, and this plot is full of holes. This modern way of finding love just makes me feel so alone. And I can't be the only one sick of staring at my phone. So look up, talk to me, a better way to spend our energy. Just look up, talk to me. We don't have to float alone on the open sea. Don't know that I believe in the old time fable. Everyone has just one true love. All I know is you're across this table, and you're all I'm thinking of. So look up, talk to me, a better way to spend our energy. Just look up, talk to me. We don't have to float alone on the open sea. Ooh, talk to me. Talk to me. It's such waste of time swiping left and swiping right on people you could know.